Hi everyone and welcome to episode 148 of the Talk is Cheap show. We are live here in the AFTV studio, salubrious surroundings as usual. And with me, joining me on the table today, none other than my good friend, co-host, all-round football extraordinaire, Mr. Curtis Shaw from Curtis Shaw TV in house. What are you saying, bro?
Yeah, what's going on with this red hoodie thing, man? Looking like Suge Knighted here, man. It's been a good weekend for Arsenal,
Crips.
Yeah. Bloods,
sorry, it's Bloods, isn't it?
Yeah, you
sorry,
can't mix that up, you know what I mean? That's problems.
Gonna get me on trouble out on road, man.
That
just goes to show how out of the loop I am with these things, man.
But it's obviously been a good weekend. Red
absolutely, man, absolutely. It's good to see you, man.
Yeah,
and we've got lots to talk about, so let's get it popping. Right, just news and notes, very brief. There's only one story I'm going to go with this week, and that is the saga of the Michaela Mudryk, or should I say Odemwingie? Because it kind of brought up them Odemwingie vibes. Those of you who a bit younger, you might not have heard of Peter Odemwingie, but go and Google it, man. 2013 was it? Supposed transfer to QPR, but anyway, Michaela Mudryk, man. I mean, what can I say? I mean, this has been going back and forth for a number of weeks. We thought we were going to get him. You coined the phrase, he was twerking for Arsenal, putting out all these Instagram posts, and then lo and behold, we heard that Chelsea were interested. We was all saying, they're interested, but that was just a bit of bantering and business and rare. But then lo and behold, Saturday, news coming through, man, that Chelsea looked like they got him signed up, and so it proved. Yeah. Curtis, what's your thoughts on that?
Never wanted him anyway. Never wanted him anyway. Never heard of him.
Fit in with the plans.
Nah, he don't fit in with the system. Justin Bieber, we're calling him now, with the haircut. Listen, it is what it is, man. I spoke about it on my show as well, and I think in isolation, I think Arsenal probably looked at it and thought, is this guy really worth 100 million? You know, 100 million, you should be a majorly established footballer. However, I think where the disappointment was with a lot of Arsenal fans is that Arteta clearly identified him. That was his target. He feels he would have fit in the system. And it just felt like Arsenal maybe dithered a little bit. I feel like it was a bit of a one-horse race, and we've waited so long to get, we made 3 offers, all been rejected, and Chelsea, the brother, flew out and brought him back on the plane, they said, the same night. Well, they said Edu was flying out, so where did Edu fly to? I don't know, his flight must have got, went somewhere else, but I think they do have to learn from it at the same time. We're having a laugh about it, who didn't want him now and blah, 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 but I do think they have to learn that when you're top of the league and you're trying to buy these players, you do have to be more aggressive, and you got to get them done quicker. Yeah,
and I'll tell you what was a little disappointing for me. I mean, listen, I don't know too much about the player. I had to be advised by people such as yourself. But listen, everyone I've spoken to said, look, he looks like he's going to be the real deal. He's exactly what we need. And of course, you trust in the manager, especially with what he's been doing recently with the team. So you think, yeah, man, I'm excited. And then when it didn't work out, there's that sense of deflation. But I'll tell you what kind of heightened that sense of disappointment for me was the fact that we missed out on João Felix and Mudryk in the space of a week.
Yeah.
To the same club.
The same club, yeah.
What was your thoughts on that?
Well, we spoke about it last week. I said that I thought the João Felix deal was the bigger miss of the two, because I know long-term Mudryk is, they've given him an 8.5-year contract. Crazy contract, but I felt until the end of the season João Felix would have been a good option for us as a striker. I think you saw yesterday, obviously we're going to talk about the game, but Eddie was shattered towards the end of that game. We didn't have another striker to bring on, so for me, not signing Mudryk, not the end of the world, but I think the bigger issue and the bigger question is, are this club, are they prepared enough to get somebody else in? It felt a little bit like Vlahovic, where all the eggs were in that basket. You never got him and no one else came. So if you haven't got Mudryk, who are you going to get? That's the question.
Well, that's what everyone's asking now. What is the plan B? Where is the plan B at?
Yeah.
Who's on the horizon? I mean, I'm hearing names like Trossard and that being plucked out of nowhere. Or maybe not out of nowhere. I mean, we know that he's unsettled at Brighton. It would appear that he wants to move. Is that somebody that you would look at?
It's not a bad signing. As a squad player, it makes sense. They reckon 25 million. It's Premier League proven. I just don't think it's an exciting signing. But I think Arsenal, listen, they might have to look at it and say, listen, we can't get a big transfer over the line now in this short space of time. So it might just be a case of getting maybe 2 players through the door that can boost the squad. You can see that Arteta's short of options on the bench. So if you get maybe Trossard and a midfielder, sensible signings, and then in the summer maybe you can go for somebody bigger. You know, people saying Rafa Leao and players like that. So I think that's the kind of signing that Arsenal will probably go for. Not the most exciting, but definitely helps the squad out.
And what do you think of the school of thought that, I mean, I know I was probably of that opinion as well, which is that, you know, okay, the outlay was a lot of money, and I know Arsenal have, it would appear, a policy in place that they, you know, I mean, they're not going to spend crazy money. But if you get to the sort of real business end at the end of the season, and it's not going to happen for whatever reason, do you look back in January and think, well, this is where it was lost? Or would you say that Arsenal have definitely made the right decision in not overspending?
I think the thing is, and we spoke about this before, you know, and listen, I don't think Mudryk is worth 100 million, but he may prove to be. But if that's the guy you've said, Arteta said, that's my guy who I need. We've known about this target for months. They needed to have this deal done before January even arrived. It should have been tied up, especially with the fact that we're top and he was desperate to join us. It kind of makes you feel like, you know, can Edu negotiate big transfers? But they have to respond. They've got enough time, and there are other good players out there that we can get. So it's about what they do from now.
Absolutely. And you hit on something there that I would have been saying for a few weeks now, which is that we had been linked with Mudryk way before Chelsea had really entered into the equation, seriously entered into the equation anyway. So there's an argument for saying you should have got that deal, that is Arsenal, should have got that sorted way before.
Yeah.
As soon as you'd earmarked him as your target, you know, they were going back and forth, and it jumped from 60 to 70 to 80. Maybe there's an argument for saying, listen, you shouldn't have allowed it to drag on for so long. You should have just paid the money and got it done, got him into the squad. You probably would have been starting for us by now.
It's definitely, Edu's definitely going to have to learn from this. He is. Because
we keep saying this, though, don't we?
No, yeah, we did.
No disrespects to Edu. He has done some good business. I mean, listen, the Jesus signing was fantastic, and, you know, the Zinchenko and stuff like that. But, you know, you can't help but feel a sense of disappointment, I must say. Yeah. But anyway, we won't dwell on disappointments because it's been a very good weekend. Just want to read out a super chat here from Dave Jordan. He says Conte flexed his tactical dexterity yesterday. The tactical dexterity, I think he's sending me up a bit because I use those.
He's going for you there with the words, innit? Still don't know what half of these words mean, but I just nod my head.
Tactical dexterity, tactical being tactical. Dexterity mean a bit of nimbleness,
cool.
Bit of flexibility, being able to, you know, maneuver around certain things. So, hey, man. A few other comments here. People bigging you up, saying C Unit, which is great.
Big up.
Couple of people here calling Mudryk a mercenary. It would appear, judging by these comments, that most people agree that Arsenal did the right thing and have not overspent and have not spent over the odds on a player that's not been proven yet. But hey, I guess only time will tell. And the thing is as well, though, Mudryk will be turning out for Chelsea. Can you imagine if he starts putting in some real serious performances, then it's going to
look worse.
It's
going to be hard for him, though, because they don't look great.
Yeah, that's true. Although, to be fair, João Felix, who got sent off in his first game, by all accounts, he was having a really good game up until that point.
Good 20 minutes.
But you never know, man. That's the beauty of these things. We'll wait and see how things turn out. Another super chat here from Peely Wally. He says, I'm worried about this window now. Well, a few of us are. We haven't signed anyone yet. There's no obvious plan B, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see how that transpires. But hey, Shorty AFC, he says, the Times just reported that Declan Rice is Arsenal's top target for the summer transfer window, and they are confident that he can beat Chelsea to his signature. Now, I I've said on the record previously that I would take Declan Rice. Obviously, we're not going to get him now.
Yeah.
But is that a target that you would?
Yeah.
You're happy with for the summer transfer window?
You know what? I've become more positive about it. I used to call him Declan Rice and Peas. But you know what?
You're good with these monikers.
Yeah,
man,
but you know what? I think. You know what? He is a good player.
He is.
He's a leader as well. He knows the Prem. I think Chelsea really wanted him, but they might not be in the Champions League. They shouldn't be in the Champions League, really, if you look at the points gap. So apparently he said some good things about Arsenal. He's good friends with Saka. He's got a year left in the summer as well. So, you know, they were talking about 100 million, but I think you get him for maybe 70 million now. So, yeah, we know we have to strengthen that midfield. The only thing with me at the moment, you know, I find it hard to get excited about a transfer in the summer. You know, I'm trying to really look at what happens now. I think sometimes they throw that kind of PR out there. Like, oh, we're going to get Declan Rice in the summer. That's fine, but go and win me that title first, you know. So in the summer, we'll look at that. It would be a good
that's
signing.
kind of how I feel. Yes, I would take Declan Rice. However, that's like in the future. I'm looking at right now because I'm one of those who think that the squad is a bit threadbare. Well, I think pretty much most of the fans do. And I think that if we don't strengthen, it could cost us down the road. But listen, like I said, I'm trying not to dwell on any negativity, but that's just my honest opinion. Another super chat here from Tom Luge or Lai. I respect Arsenal's stance on not wanting to start a bidding war and destroy wage bill structure on Mudryk. What do you think about a move for Leao? You did mention Leao briefly. We did see him in the World Cup as well. He looks like a very good player. Played for Portugal, came on, had some good moments. Leao for you?
Yeah, it won't happen in January.
No, it won't.
If you're not getting Mudryk from Shakhtar, you know, I think they're saying 130 million for Leao. There's just no way. In the summer, I think it's possible. He said something about Arsenal in an interview that I think he said it's one of the most exciting teams to watch.
I seem to remember Mudryk saying
Mudryk said a lot more than that as well, and we still never did it. So, yeah, them kind of deals there, we're not going to get them done in January. I think it'll be a bit more cheap and cheerful. But he is a good player. I would get him.
Another super chat here from Rishikesh Haridas. He says, Arsenal have 9 away and 11 home games left. Now, we're going to talk about that type of stuff, but just briefly on that. Still a long way to go.
Yeah, a long way to go. I mean, I think after the United game, that's the halfway mark. But yeah, you'd always prefer to have more home games than away. So
yeah, thanks, Rishi. We are going to address that as we move forward. Right, okay then. So that was the news and notes. Moving on then to our next item, which is to review Arsenal's last game since our last show. We all know by now that Arsenal's last game was the 193rd North London derby. I said it on the show last week. For me, the North London derby is the biggest domestic derby in the UK. I know some of our friends from up north in Scotland think otherwise, but I'm sticking to my guns. Arsenal away to Spurs. Coming into this game, the narrative was, could we go to Spurs and get a result? Could we beat them? Because let's face it, in recent times, we've not been doing that. And I think the stat was in 8 Premier League games against Arsenal at their place, Spurs had won 6 and drawn 2. So could we finally go there? That's it, go to Spurs and overcome the hoodoo. The answer, a resounding yes. I'll just give a very brief synopsis of the game, then I'll invite our resident expert here, Curtis, to comment. So briefly then, so my take on it was a largely dominant first half by Arsenal, during which we scored twice. The first, courtesy of a huge clanger from Hugo Lloris. I don't know what he was doing there, but good break down the right by Saka. Puts the ball in, speculative ball in. You're thinking, he should get that. Slight deflection, to be fair, but he's got to be doing better than that. There was almost a bit of a delay when I saw the ball go in the net. I had to look at it twice and think, did that actually go in?
I think Hugo had been drinking again. You know, he's done it in the past. Shout out Hugo Lloris, man. That was a great
assist.
Just flung it in over his shoulder, didn't he? Man?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, there was literally a couple of seconds delay when that ball went in. Because I was
hit him, and I heard the fans cheer, and I was like, "Oh, it's in! What's
it's in,
going on?"
That's what I thought. You know,
big him up, man.
But I'll take it.
He had a good Saturday night out by the look of it.
And then the second goal on 36 minutes, a shot from outside the box from the person who I regarded as man of the match, Martin Odegaard. I thought he had an absolutely outstanding game. He did everything that you would expect a number 10 and captain to do. I thought he was excellent going forward and defensively. And he's getting his shots off, man. He's scoring goals now, which is something that one or two others, I'm going to say myself as well, was slightly critical of him in previous games, that he needs to get more goals. He's doing that now. He was Player of the Month, and he sealed that award with a very good goal. Although some people again were saying that Lloris might have done better. What do you think on that?
I don't know. I thought it was a good
I thought
goal.
it was a good goal.
Right in the corner as well.
Very good shot. Good accurate low shot into the net. 2-0 up. So we went in half-time 2-0 up. Second half, we're expecting Spurs to come out and have a go, which they did, to be fair. But I thought we managed the game well. They did create some chances, but I thought that Ramsdale, who I thought had an excellent game as well, was equal to it. Although I think most of the saves that he made, you would expect him to make. Would I be fair in saying that? I think the only one
with his foot was
I think the only one was the Ryan Sessegnon one, the one that he saved with his foot. That was a brilliant save. But I think most of the other saves
were relatively straightforward.
But nevertheless, he had a good game. And Arsenal managed the game well. We could even have scored another goal. Eddie had a good chance late on in that game. But anyway, we went on to win 2-0. Curtis, you take it from here. What was your thoughts on the game?
I mean, yeah, man, 3-point lane. You know, rolled up, took the 3 points, left the play.
3-point lane, light work lane, all
whatever.
sorts of adjectives going around.
I tell you what, the best Tottenham attack of that game was the fan trying to kick Aaron Ramsdale, to be fair. That was the only decent attack they put together in the whole game. I mean, Harry Kane.
That was Richarlison's assist, by the way. Because I really feel strongly that he should be sanctioned for that.
Yeah.
Because I reckon he was the catalyst for that moment.
Well, if Granit Xhaka did what Richarlison did, he'd probably be in jail for that. You know, they love jumping on Arsenal. Richarlison's doing all kinds of madness. So it'd be interesting if the FA take any action. But in terms of the game, I think for me, the first 45 minutes probably the best half of the season. I think.
Agreed.
Considering, I thought we were brilliant against Liverpool at home, but we did concede in that game. I thought we completely controlled that game. And Paul Merson said, actually, that that was like a Man City performance, like what they've been doing over the last few years. I mean, we could have been 4-0 up at half-time, to be honest. That Thomas Partey volley, I mean, that's goal of the season.
Yeah, that goes in. That's definitely goal of the season.
We destroyed them. They couldn't handle our energy, our movement, our pace. We were so good on the ball. We absolutely destroyed them in midfield. I mean, Partey, I thought, was immense again. Zinchenko's dropping into them pockets, Odegaard. They just couldn't cope with us. They had no answer for us.
It was noticeable that Zinchenko, after a while, he was swaggering around in that midfield, didn't he? You know what I mean? It was quite... I was so impressed, man. I was so impressed.
And then you look at the second half as well. It was like the total opposite. We had to dig deep, backs against the wall a little bit. You know, they threw everything they had, and we dealt with it. And we still could have even scored in the second half.
Exactly, yeah.
So, I mean,
I thought we managed the game well. I think
we managed the game really well.
Previous Arsenal sides might have faltered in that second half, but I'm going to be honest now. I mean, listen, myself and Curtis, we predicted a win before the game. And when I was watching it, I was like, yep, my prediction's going to be on point. I never at once, and I'm being honest now, I never once felt in any serious danger.
Yeah.
That's how I saw it.
They didn't offer much, but I think you got to give credit to the Arsenal team. I mean, I was looking at the team that started there last year when we lost. Cedric at right back, Holding at centre back, Tomiyasu was playing out of position at left back. No Thomas Partey. We had Laka up front, who was kind of on his way out. We've turned up this year, Saliba at the back next to Gabriel. Them two are just outstanding. Ben White, who a player that I honestly really was questioning whether he was worth 50 million. He's probably been the best right back in the league this season. Really, with Reece James being injured and stuff, he's been unbelievable. You look at Zinchenko, I mean, his ability on the ball. Yeah,
like I said, he was swaggering around in that.
It was just best Ukrainian in the league, by the way. I don't know about that Justin Bieber lookalike over there, but and then Granit Xhaka, even him having it with Conte, and all of that. It was just a perfect performance from Arsenal, to be honest, in a derby. And I was kind of surprised by Tottenham. They didn't seem to have anything They seemed very flat. They didn't really have a response to what we offered. And
we did say on the show, we said it on the show last week, that they're notorious slow starters under Conte. And I felt that we could take advantage of that. And it's exactly what we did. We got off to a great start. And of course, there was one thing getting off to a good start, but you got to get the goals. And of course, once Laurie threw that one in, that kind of, you know what I mean, settled everybody down just right. And then we got another goal 20 minutes later. And to me, once we got that second goal, it was game done for me.
I mean, I
know, you know.
Yeah,
Spurs,
you never know.
Spurs are going to come back at you, and they do have quality players. And yes, they did create chances. But based on that first half performance, I was looking at that and I was thinking, unless there is an almighty turnaround in the second half, I cannot see us losing this game.
I think the main thing was not to concede. You know, if they'd have gone to 2-1, the crowd would have got lively and they would have gone for it. But keeping the clean sheet. And I think that's why Ramsdale did get man of the match, because to keep that clean sheet, if that Sessegnon one goes in, it is then a difficult last 30 minutes. So I think that's been one of the biggest improvements with Arsenal. You look over the years, even under Arsene Wenger, towards the end, we always played good football. We could always score goals, but defensively we've been so fragile over the years. This is the first time in a long, long time that I've had confidence in Arsenal's defence. I feel like we can keep clean sheets against most teams. And
Excellent
we've got the second best defence in the league now as well.
It did look like that they were more than capable of managing anything that Tottenham had to throw at them. But talking of the Ramsdale thing, it was interesting because we had a debate here in the studio after the game. Ramsdale was awarded man of the match. And listen, I don't have a big problem with that because I thought he had a very good game. But it was kind of one of those where I felt that by giving Ramsdale man of the match, it implied that had it not have been for Ramsdale's heroics, that we could have lost the game. So I was minded to give man of the match to the captain, Odegaard, who I thought was outstanding throughout. And not only that, the leadership skills that he obviously displaying on the pitch is taking Arsenal to new heights. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, we were talking about this. For me, I don't really mind who got man of the match.
No, it's not a big thing.
I know your thought. I get it, because I know what you're saying, because Tottenham didn't have that many clear-cut chances. So Ramsdale, maybe you could have said, but I think sometimes it's easy to overlook a goalkeeper, and I think, you know, he made big saves at big moments. His distribution was good. His handling was good. He was talking, organising the back four. For me, you know, I think you could have given man of the match to 4 or 5 players. I thought Partey was outstanding. I thought Odegaard was brilliant. There was just so many good performances. And sometimes I think, you know, Odegaard's just got player of the month. Maybe they thought, give man of the match to someone else. Share the love around, man, and I don't mind. And the man took a kick on the back, so I give him man of the match as well, you know.
Yeah. Listen, like I said, it's not a big team.
No, but
it's just the aesthetics. You give man of the match to Ramsdale. People who didn't see the whole game might think,
Tottenham was all over us or something.
How can Arsenal been that dominant when it was their goalkeeper that got man of the match? But anyway, it's a moot point now. Right, so we win the game, crush the hoodoo. You see the guys celebrating at the end of the game there, and I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, you know what? How significant is this win? Because the way Arteta, who, got to give credit to Arteta as well, not only did he nail the tactics, but I thought he conducted himself on the touchline really well. Even after the game, the way he was shepherding the players away from the Tottenham men and getting them to go down, I thought that was very good from him. So I'm looking at that and I'm thinking to myself, was this the moment? Because I mean, we've spoken of moments before, but when you think of the narrative going into the game and people saying, but can Arsenal go to Spurs and win after all this time? I think previous to that, we've got to go back to 2014 in the Premier League.
And Arteta was playing in that game.
Well, no, he played in the... he could have been playing that. He played the year before that. We beat them in the League Cup. And he captained the team. But so you've got to go back to 2014 for Arsenal to actually go to Spurs and win. Now, we've gone to Spurs and we've won. We've opened up an 8-point lead. Is this the moment? How significant was this win, Curtis?
I mean, it's a moment. I can't say it's the moment. You know, there's still a long way to go. And ultimately, Man City are the biggest threat. It's not Tottenham.
Well, according to Pep, he don't care about the Premier
Yeah,
League.
you know Pep. I saw Pep was saying, "Oh,
Man said he don't care about the Premier League or the
Yeah.
Carabao Cup.
You know Pep's all mind games. His head was gone that they lost, and he thought Rashford was offside. Pep loves the mind game, so don't fall for that trap.
Okay, I'll try not to.
I think it's too early to say it's the moment where you think, yeah, Arsenal have, the league is far from over. We're all dreaming as Arsenal fans, and we've got a right to dream, and that's why we want to put that pressure on the board now to say, you know what, go and back this manager, because to be honest, he deserves now this board to give him a big transfer window, and that's my frustration, is because the position we're in, I think we should be having like a summer transfer window in January. He only really needs maybe 2 players now, probably a midfielder and an attacking player. But he should be able to go and get 2 big players. When you look at it, Stan Kroenke is worth double what Todd Bowley is worth. We shouldn't have to penny pinch, and no disrespect, if we need a winger, we shouldn't have to sign Trossard for 20 million from Brighton. If you're trying to win the title, go and buy a big winger for 85, 90 million, because that could get you over the finish line, and the owner's got the money to do it. So for me, I think, is it the moment? It's too early to say. It's a very, very significant moment for us, though, because, as I said the other day, I think this is one of our 3 most difficult away games. I would say Anfield, the Etihad, and Tottenham. And it's not only just that we won, because you can win games. Man United beat Man City the other day, but I don't think they were overly convincing.
No,
that game could have gone either way. But we dominated Tottenham. That was humiliating for them. I mean, shout out Expressions, but I don't know where he is right now. But he must have had a rough weekend.
As well, man. Those men are positively depressed.
Yeah.
But listen, so what do you make then? We got a comment here from Dominic Baragna. I'm minded to go with what he says here, man. He says, statement win. Best football played this season, we destroyed them. And the term he used there is statement win, which is what I felt yesterday.
Yeah.
After that game, I was looking, I think that is a statement win, because, like I said, there'd been a lot of doubt as to whether we could go to Tottenham and win. We hadn't done so in so many years. Not only did we go there and win, we won well. We opened up an 8-point gap lead. The vibes are great. As I said, you saw the way the players were celebrating yesterday. I could not help think that could be one of those pivotal moments in the season where you think to yourself, these guys are starting to believe that the title is a realistic possibility.
Yeah. No, listen, they should definitely have that belief now, because Tottenham away for us is a different game for other people because of the rivalry between us. And like I said, it is a statement win. And a lot of people have been throwing that at Arsenal. Oh, you haven't really beaten anyone. And even though we have beaten a lot of good teams, but they keep, throwing that excuse against us. But I kind of think we've just got to keep our feet on the ground. The fans, we can start dreaming of, Odegaard lifting the title in May. But as players, they've just got to go, right, big win, celebrate, keep it moving. You've got another test next week, Man United. They're in better form than Tottenham. Right. Well, we're going to talk about that anyway. And obviously, Man City the week
we
after.
segued nicely onto what I was going to talk about then. Because as we know, man, with the Premier League, the games keep coming and they keep coming fast. That's the beauty of the Premier League. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, as we've said. So another week, another massive game. Our ops of the week this week is none other than Man United.
United.
Big club versus big club. North versus South. 2 form teams in the Premier League. First versus fourth. Like I said, Arsenal at home to Man. It doesn't get much bigger, really. And I said, I'm not being wise after the event. I'm not trying to appear smarter than whatever. But I said, and you agreed with me.
Yeah.
We said that the United game, even though it's at home, it would be a more difficult test for Arsenal than the Tottenham game would. Because I just sensed that Tottenham weren't at it this season. There's been problems at the club. You've heard Conte expressing his doubts and concerns and stuff like that. So they're not really a happy camp. But you contrast that with United. They had their problems earlier in the season. And then that culminated in that interview with Piers Morgan with Ronaldo. Ever since that, they've been put to bed, man. They're a different animal now. And they're coming to the Emirates this weekend. And they've got title aspirations themselves. They're on a really good run of form. I think they've won their last 7 games. last 5 in the Premier League, had a great win at the weekend against City. They're coming, man.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a great clash.
Personally, for me, I think, and I said this earlier, I think this is one of my favourite games, Arsenal-Man United. I think the Tottenham game, yeah, the rivalry is big, but I kind of think, growing up for me, Arsenal-Man United was the rivalry.
It was.
Ferguson and Wenger, Vieira and Keane, Henry and Van Nistelrooy. I still think this is the most exciting game for me as an Arsenal fan. And yeah, it's two teams who are in form, but I do still have a confidence that we're going to beat them. I do. I just think because we're at home, we should have beaten them away from home, but we were naive for probably 15 minutes and it cost us the game. I think we thought we had them on the ropes and kind of over-attacked a little bit. So we are going to have to be cautious. We know Rashford's in great form at the moment. I still look to that Man City game when United played and I thought, you rode your luck a lot there. They could have quite easily lost that game. I mean, that Bruno Fernandes goal, how that's onside, I will never know how that is a goal.
I was thinking to myself, am I missing something here? Because you could quite see clearly that Rashford's run is clearly interfering with play.
Yeah.
You could see one of the Kanji literally slows up a bit. You could see that the goalkeeper's coming out. He's thinking who's going to take the shot. Apparently Bruno's screaming at Rashford for him to take. I mean, come on, man.
Should have never been a goal.
Should never have been a goal. And up until that point, I watched the game, and I think it's fair to say that City were definitely in the ascendancy.
Yeah.
And looked like they were going to win. And goals do change games. So, but anyway, that was that. Got a super chat here from Daniel Chambers. Says huge statement win. And Laurie, big fights this weekend. Yes, there is a big fight this weekend. The Eubank versus Liam Smith. Will you be watching that?
Yeah, I'll watch that.
I know you're a boxing fan.
Yeah, I don't mind that fight. Obviously, it should have been Ben Eubank, shouldn't it? But
oh yes, Eubank, Conor Ben. Yeah. But trust me, this is a very good fight. In fact, I think Liam Smith is a clear and present danger to Eubank.
Yeah.
Man. Trust me. I think he's got the style to give Eubank all manner of problems. That is going to be a very interesting fight. But back to the football. Yeah. So thanks, Daniel, for your super chat. Comments coming in here, people having a go at expressions, they're calling him depression. Some comments here on the United game. I am not confident, says Iron Matey. The real test is on Sunday. I agree.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, the Tottenham game was a test, but I think this is a level above that. Yeah, I really do.
Because they're on form.
They're on form. And they've beaten us already this season, let's be honest.
The only team.
The only team to do so. We've had 1 loss to them and 2 draws. So we owe them.
Do you know what I think can give us a slight advantage as well is Man United play Crystal Palace away on Wednesday. Even if they were to win that game, I think just physically, the fact we've got 7 days to just, train, relax, get the recovery right.
Vieira.
Whoa. We could do with something. Wilfred Zaha, come on, man. Just give
your
us
boy Wilfred Zaha, man. Yeah, he needs a good game, though, doesn't he?
He hasn't played that well in the last few weeks, but we could do with
Palace are going through a difficult time.
Yeah, Vieira.
I mean, I'm even hearing calls for the manager to be replaced, which I think is wholly unfair.
Yeah. He needs some money to spend.
Exactly, man.
But we could do with a Palace performance, man. But
hey, listen, you can't rule it out, man. Because on their day, Palace, they've done it to us in the past.
They can beat anyone.
You take your eye off the prize, man, and Palace are the kind of team, man, that can upset the apple cart.
Yeah, man.
Super chat here from Jermaine Johnson. He says, Arsenal fans, be humble, bro. How many Premier do you all have again? Meaning Premier League titles. My computer is stuck on 3, so Arsenal fans, relax. United are bringing the smoke. Yes, United may be bringing the smoke, but you seen on the last week, man, when Tottenham brought the smoke in that second half, we were more than equal to it.
We handled it, yeah.
You know what I mean? The game management, as my boy Curtis said earlier in the show, is on point in a way that previously it's not been. But anyway, talking of the Arsenal-Man United, we know it's a big game, so let's look at some match receipts. I did indicate earlier that United are on a very good run of form. They're currently 4th in the Premier League, 18 games, 38 points, 12 wins, 2 draws, 4 losses. Arsenal, as we know, currently top, 18 games, 47 points, 15 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss that we spoke about earlier. Corresponding fixtures, the last time we played them, they did beat us 3-1 It's a bit flattering for them, isn't it? Don't you think?
Yeah.
But they beat us 3-1.
Hands a little bit.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. But then we beat them 3-1 back in April. So it is what it is. Last 5 games in the Premier League, it's fairly even, man. Arsenal 2 wins, Man United 2 wins and 1 draw. So it doesn't get much more equal than that, really. So, but yeah, United are on this hot streak, and Rashford is arguably, alongside people like Odegaard, he's probably the best amongst the best players in the Premier League at the moment.
Yeah.
Curtis Shaw, how do we stop Marcus Rashford on Sunday?
It's interesting. Obviously, he'll probably play off that left, although I did see that Martial had got injured against Man City, so it'll be interesting.
But the youth that come on though, man. Hey,
yeah,
Garnacho.
Yeah, he's
live. Kind of reminded me of Martinelli, you know.
Got that low centre of gravity, hasn't he?
Yeah, and the way he's so direct and quick and
they just signed that
seemingly fearless.
The big tall Dutchman. So, no, Rashford. The only thing I would say with Man United is I look at their attack. I think if you can keep Rashford quiet, which is hard to do, obviously, because he's in form, I don't think their attack is that fluid at the moment.
But how do we do that, bro?
Well, yeah, you've got to deny him space. You know, I would get tight to him. If you let him turn and run at you and start shooting, he's a problem. He's skillful, he's quick, and they're creating a lot of chances for him at the moment. So I think you've got to almost.
Who gets that job? Is that Saliba?
Well, he plays on the left, really, so he'd probably be up against Ben White.
Well, we said, you said, you know, you eulogising about Ben White, and don't get me wrong, I agree with you. He's been one of our best players this season, so that's going to be a great little subplot there, isn't it?
I think if you look at that first game, you look at both the goals, we're on the halfway line, ball over the top. You cannot give him that kind of space. I think we're going to have to show that little bit of respect and maybe defend a little bit deeper. Deny Rashford that space. And then obviously get out and try and hurt their defence. Because I noticed they had, I think Wan-Bissaka was playing right back. Luke Shaw was at centre back. I mean, if I'm that Arsenal front line, I'm thinking you can damage that back four. You know, Luke Shaw at centre back, he's not a natural centre back. Wan-Bissaka, I mean, I know that brother famously said, man, he's like a fish riding a bike. You know what I mean? So we need to target him. So listen, I still think we're the better team. I honestly do. I do think we're the favourites to win the game at home. We got a great record against United at home as well. We struggled a bit more at Old Trafford. So the Casemiro-Thomas Partey battle will be a good one. Everyone's talking about those.
Casemiro was good as well for United. And he seems to have definitely enhanced them, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's been a good signing for them. Right, okay, a couple of super chats here. Sex says, time Robbie goes on TalkSport after Simon J's comment. Simon Jordan, presumably. Now listen, what's wrong with this Simon Jordan guy? He's always got.
What's he saying? I don't.
Listen, Simon Jordan, bro. Take AFTV and Robbie's name out your mouth. What is wrong with you, bro? Like, you know what
Laurie, tell him in the camera, man. Laurie.
Hey, listen, he don't buck up on me, man, because I'm different to my brother. My brother's nice and diplomatic.
Yeah, you're the Malcolm X, innit?
No, but this clown, like, bro, just. With your bleached blonde hair, chatting your nonsense.
What's he saying? I
don't know, but he's obviously had something to say.
Yeah.
He's always on Robbie and AFTV's case. Just allow it, bro.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? You're on there doing your thing. Robbie's doing his thing. What's your problem?
Keep it moving.
Yeah, man. But yeah, it sounds like he's been chatting sideways again. But anyway.
Laurie v Simon Jordan, charity boxing match. Let's get that one, man. YouTube boxing.
He would not last even a minute with me, bro. I'll tell you that now. Not even.
It's not a KSI.
If he lasted 60 seconds with me, then I'm past it. I'm totally past it. But for good thing for him, that will never happen.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Moving on, man. Let's move on to better things. Christian G says, give the cone, man. I think he's having a little dig at you, eh?
Yeah, no, I've called
AKA Arteta, the money needs to improve our team, and I have a good feeling we can challenge for the league. Big up, see you. And actually, it's a kind of
backhand.
He's using your terms, but hey. So what's your thoughts on that?
I called him the cone man at the start, but I think the cones can get sent back to Man City now. You know what I mean? You're a big boss now. Listen, I agree with him, and we said it time and time again, man. These Kroenkes. If we don't win the league, I think that's where your energy's got to be towards. I know, big up man like Turkish, he said it for a long time, that roundabout, these man, they got the biggest opportunity they've had since they've owned the club outright. They keep saying things, be excited, we're back in Mikel, blah, blah, blah. let's see what you're about now. And I don't think Trossard is enough to do that.
Yeah,
It's
I get
not
the
bad
impression that
timing.
you're not overwhelmed
No,
with
because
it, with
listen,
the link with
we're
Trossard.
trying to win the league. If we were fourth, trying to get top four, and you just want a couple players to boost the squad, all right, Trossard and that, yeah, keep it moving. You got an opportunity to win the title, which is something we would have never imagined at the start of the season. Go and get the money out, man. You know
No,
what I
I
mean?
agree with you, actually. You do. Yeah. But there's going to be people out there that will say, you know what I mean, you can't just throw good money after bad players.
But there's
I
think there's a lot of good players.
Or even mediocre players. There've got to be players that are going to enhance the team. And see, therein lies the problem, you see. And that's why I was disappointed that we didn't get the targets that we had earmarked, because now there's the strong danger that you might end up doing that.
Yeah.
Go for lesser players because you're thinking, well, we've got to do something
short term.
That's the problem when you don't get your targets.
And the thing is, we've played our hand a little bit now. Everybody knows, you offered 89 million for Mudryk. So you turn up for my 45 million rated player.
That Trossard thing might be a 60 million.
Do you know what I mean? Because they know what money we're dealing with. So, it's it feels like they're scrambling a little bit now. But we just got to wait 2 more weeks and see.
We're going a bit back and forth, people, with talk about players and stuff like that. But we're just reflecting the comments that's coming in. Super chat here from Sheets of Metal. He says, "I want those Man United game. Come on, you Gooners." Listen, man. I think that's a sentiment that we all feel. It is a big game. It's another massive game coming off the back of the Tottenham game. But it's a game that, we want. Bring it on.
Do you know what? I think these fixtures have fell in a nice way because, each big game that you play, you think, right, that one's off the fixture list now. This will be...
As long as you win them.
As long as you win them. We've now played Tottenham home and away, took 6 points. This will be the second game against United. Hopefully we get the win. But you're just chipping away at those bigger fixtures, more difficult ones. Obviously, the big issue is we're going to have to play Man City twice in the league, well as once in the Cup as well. And the dynamics can change a lot when you play the same team so many times, depending on the result you get as well. Like, it's going to be interesting. I know we're looking ahead a bit, but how strong Arteta goes in that FA Cup game at Manchester City. Does he go all out or does he rotate a little bit?
It's a good point, because you're also conscious of the fact that, you're on a momentum whereby you're winning games. If you come unstuck, then you've got to kind of rebuild yourself for that next game, and it's not always easy to do that at this level, you make a very good point there. Okay then, so with the United game in mind this weekend, what would be your approach to the game, and what kind of team are you going with? You going to make any changes?
Well, the team picks itself. To be honest, we don't even have many options to rotate if we wanted to. And
I guess the one that comes up every week is the Tierney and Zinchenko thing, isn't it?
I mean, it comes up to us, but I think with Arteta, it's clear cut. Zinchenko is his boy. He wants someone to drop into midfield. I think, listen, you've got to... I think we'll come out the traps and try and start quick. Because I think we're at home, Super Sunday. We've just beat Tottenham. There's a feel-good factor. They're not going to go gun-ho, of course, because United are dangerous on the break and Rashford. I think we've specifically got to deal with Rashford and deal with probably Bruno Fernandes, because I do feel outside of those two, they have got good players, Anthony and Martial and Casemiro. But I think if you can stop Rashford and stop the supply from Bruno, then I think you can hurt them. If Wan-Bissaka is playing and Luke Shaw's at centre-back and things like that, I think they can be got at. I have to say, I thought Saka absolutely destroyed Sessegnon yesterday. I mean, Sessegnon must have woke up this morning feeling like he had a hangover. You know what I mean? So if Malacia's at left-back, I think Saka can really get him. So
if you're looking at that, Malacia is a very good player, but like you, I would back Saka to get the better of him. Yeah. Going back to the Sessegnon thing, I was slightly surprised actually that they didn't go with Perisic.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it.
I thought they played into our hands.
Oh my days! I mean, their wing backs aren't great. Doherty actually did all right against Martinelli. I thought Martinelli was quiet. Yeah. But Sessegnon against Saka, I said, you're one brave man. I'm telling you, he got that all wrong, Conte.
Was his rationale that maybe Sessegnon, I don't know, maybe he's a little quicker, more sprightly than
bit more
than
defensive
Perisic.
minded as well.
So that might have helped him, but it didn't work on the day.
He got roasted.
And the fact that it took so long to change it as well.
I think the interesting thing, and I was saying this earlier, you know, we're always looking at new players. If players like Mudryk are 100 million euros, how much is Saka actually worth?
Wow.
English player as well, Arsenal.
Excellent
He is
point.
honestly a £150 million player. He's unbelievable, and he came through our system. So, but yeah, with the United game, listen, you got to keep Rashford quiet, cut off the supply. They are on a good run, but if I was really cherry picking at things, if you look at that run outside of Man City, they've played a lot of teams in the bottom half of the league. They beat Wolves, they beat Forest. You know, I do think this will be a big test for them as well.
Although, as I always say, to be fair, it's all about momentum. Sometimes in sports, it doesn't matter too much about who you're playing. If you're riding that wave of winning every game, that can get you across the line in certain matches. So let's hope it doesn't apply to us on Sunday. But right, we got a super chat here from African Giant. It says, Big C, how you doing with that Mudryk deal, my brother? Sounds like he's having a little
He's a
pop.
Chelsea fan.
Yeah. Arsenal need to let us know who they're going for next so we can make sure everything goes smoothly. Preferably a right back and a CDM, let us know.
Yeah, he's been hammering me on my channel.
Oh, really?
But yeah, because I was
familiar to you.
Yeah, I was saying all the João Felix to Arsenal, and then they grabbed him. I was like, don't worry, man, we got Mudryk, and then he was like, oh yeah, how's that one going as well? So, but don't worry, man, we're first, they're 10th. We don't mind. We'll keep it moving.
Yeah, true. I think it's fair to say that Chelsea are not even on our radar right now.
I don't even know it. I have to accept the cookies to find them on the table right now, you know.
Maybe next year they
Maybe next year,
but for now, they're not really on our radar right now, man.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what else. We've got a few other comments here. People going on about Simon. I don't know what he said, you know, but this guy seems obsessed with AFTV. Because whenever there's an opportunity for him to bring up AFTV, he does. So, but anyway, you know what that shows though? That AFTV are doing their thing.
Exactly.
The fact that we're out there, you know, I mean, they clearly see us as a threat. And then Simon Jordan is voicing that threat, you know what I mean? He clearly feels threatened, so. Yeah, okay, another super chat here from Sheets of Metal says, all good health to everyone, to all fans and players.
Yeah, well,
that's fine. Declan Rice is coming up quite a bit in the comments. As I said before, I would take Declan Rice at Arsenal. The problem being, though, it's not going to be now, is it? Because there's no way West Ham will let him go in this
No. Moyes is in big trouble if he gets him. I think in the summer, that's a realistic deal. I think they thought he was going to go Chelsea, but I don't think Chelsea will be in the Champions League, and they're talking about Kante getting a new deal. I think if you're Declan Rice now and you can go to Arsenal or Chelsea, you're going to Arsenal. You look at the football. We're going to be in the Champions League. Could potentially be a title winner. So it'll be a good signing in the summer. I've got more positive about that than I was. I thought it was a little bit overrated when they were talking about 100 million. But if you get him a bit cheaper, it would be a good deal. Him and Partey would be a solid midfield.
Got a super chat here from Keenan. He's responding to African Giant. He says, don't worry, we will buy Raheem from you Muppets for 35 million. Super Mick can show you mugs how to coach proper ballers. He'll be bagging.
Do you know what? It's interesting. I did see today there was a story saying that Sterling's unhappy and that him and Potter, like, they're not getting on.
Oh, really?
A few people are saying that, but I would
imagine him and Aubameyang's not that great either.
Yeah, they're just...
He's been treating Aubameyang recently.
Yeah, I think with Sterling, I did hear, I know a few people that know him, and they said in the summer, if we'd have made Champions League, it was possible. But I think one of his things was it has to be in the Champions League. The problem as well, he's on like 300 and something grand a week. Man's getting big money, man. So would Arsenal give him 300 grand? Would Chelsea do us a favour by strengthening us? It doesn't look likely, does it?
No, I wouldn't have thought
missed the boat on that one.
But I do rate Sterling.
Yeah, I rate him. I don't think Chelsea was a good move for him.
No, it's not turning out like that. I mean, initially when they got him, I thought, yeah, that can definitely work. But, you know, as with a few of their signs, Koulibaly is one that I thought would do well.
Yeah, he looks
Chelsea.
a bit dodgy as
Cucurella,
well.
whatever happened to him? Remember when we played Brighton, was it last season?
He was a beast.
He was amazing, and I was like, rah, you know, we were bigging him up on this very show.
He's been awful. He's absolutely.
Is he the same guy?
I don't know. I think that's Hugh Wizzy at left back. I'm telling you, I don't think that's Cucurella, man. He's gone to Spain and Wizzy's at left back, man. Big
I
old
saw
Wizzy,
the
man.
other day my man Jamie Carragher saying he can't defend for a defender.
60 million.
Wow.
Just shows, don't it?
It does indeed. Another super chat here from Kevin Bean. You could argue the positive change you've seen at the club is a result of AFTV and other social platforms that push for change. I'm kind of getting the feeling that that is it's kind of indirect response to comments that Simon Jordan might have made. Someone let me know in the comments, man, what this clown's been saying. You know what I mean?
Laurie wants the location, man. You know, he's going to be
but you know what it is, bro? Like, this guy, like I said, he just cannot take AFTV's name out of his mouth.
Don't worry
You know what I
about
mean? Right, KV Football, super chat here says, not getting Mudryk will actually be good, trust me. Well, it's one of them.
Time will tell
like I
on
said, time will tell, because my worry is that if we don't, we've not got Mudryk. If you don't get anyone as an adequate replacement, you could look back in 6 months' time. That would be my major concern. And you think to yourself, well, you missed out on Mudryk. You didn't sign anyone, and you've not achieved the
What you
holy
was
grail
hoping
of the
to,
title, in much the same way as last season. Dare I say, when Aubameyang left the club under those circumstances, we didn't replace him, and subsequently we didn't get a top 4 finish. And a lot of people said, including yourself, Curtis, that was a pivotal moment in not getting that top 4 place. We didn't bring somebody in.
It feels like deja vu almost. You know, we're sitting here 12 months later going, you've got to strengthen the squad. I'm not necessarily like celebrating the fact we haven't signed Mudryk, because like I said, I think they did the right thing not paying 100 million for him, because I don't think you can justify that on him. But where it's a negative is because you know the manager wanted him. He obviously felt he had something to add to this team. We haven't got him, and now we're being linked with Rafinha, we're being linked with Trossard. It seems like there's no direct plan, and that's the problem. You feel like Arsenal should have had a list, like, if we don't get Mudryk, we get him, not him, not... It feels like they're back to square one, and that's the problem. If they get a good replacement, then it's no problem, but there's always that danger with Arsenal. We're a club that we need a player. We might not necessarily get one in, so they've got to give Arteta signings. They have to. He keeps saying it in every press conference. I need more players.
He does, but as I said earlier, Curtis, the problem I'm starting to... The way it's looking for me now is that they've lost out on 2 players that we had been led to believe had been their targets, people that they'd earmarked. My concern is that even if they have the money, the players that they're going to go for now will be players that were not necessarily their targets, a plan B or even a plan C, that they might not have gone for in other circumstances, just to say we're bringing players in.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's... I mean, listen, they're not going to reveal their plan B, obviously, but that's just the impression I'm getting.
Yeah, I think so. I think now they were going to go big on Mudryk. That was the guy he really wanted. Now he hasn't got him. João Felix has gone. I reckon Arsenal will look for somebody like a Trossard who you can get for 20 million. Not necessarily going to demand first-team football. He'll be happy to be there. You can give him a 2 or 3 year deal, and then you go for a bigger player in the summer with the Champions League money, which won't be as exciting for the fans, because Trossard is an underwhelming signing, let's be honest. But when you look at the bench, again, Arteta yesterday didn't really look like he felt like he could turn to anyone. Smith Rowe, I think if he was fully match fit, would have come on earlier. But apart from that, he brought Kieran Tierney on left wing.
Yes,
Do you know what I mean? That tells you where we're at as a squad. So we may have to get less glamorous, maybe smart squad signings, and then get the bigger fish in the summer.
I've got a super chat here from Tom. He says, Victor Osimhen, get this man to the carpet, people.
I mean, listen, again, I watched him at the weekend. He ripped Juventus apart. I think they're saying 140 million to get him. If you can't sign Mudryk from Shakhtar Donetsk, don't even bother speaking to Napoli, because their chairman is one of the most notorious. He's a top player. I'd love to see him at Arsenal.
Yeah, by all accounts, he's blowing up the spot.
Yeah,
and, you know, he's been linked with Arsenal. Well, when I say linked with Arsenal, the fans have been
yeah.
linking us with him. But yeah, he sounds an exciting player. Maybe it could be one for the future, but let's face it, he's not going to come right now, is it? No. We're essentially, people, we're talking about players in this transfer window that's going to enhance the team and allow us to make good on what we feel could be Arsenal winning the Premier League.
Yeah.
So that's the concern right now. We have to be realistic and say that the likes of Osimhen and even Declan Rice are not going to happen in this transfer window. Yeah. So we want to know, what is the plan B? So let us know. We've only got a couple of minutes left.
Yeah.
What do you think the plan B is for Arsenal? We missed out on Mudryk, we missed out on João Felix. We were led to believe that those two players were the targets that Arsenal had earmarked. We haven't got either of them. We lost out on both of them to Chelsea, which is even more disappointing. But who is the plan B? People are talking about Trossard. My man Curtis here is not overwhelmed by that.
No.
I think it's fair to say.
Like, if we did sign him, it's not a terrible signing, because then if you look at it, you can say, right, we've got Martinelli and Smith-Rowe, we've got Saka and Trossard. It's 4 good wingers. But he's not a game changer, is it? It's just a good option that you could have as a squad player. But the thing for me, even if we'd have signed Mudryk, I still believe we have to sign a midfielder.
Yep.
You look at the way Thomas Partey's playing, he's absolutely on fire at the moment. But the drop-off from him is too big. It's way too big. If he was to come out of the team, El Neni and Lokonga, they're nowhere near on his level. So I still think, and we're not really being linked with a midfielder for now. They're talking about Declan
Tielemans? I mean, me and Robbie always have this debate whenever I mention Tielemans as a possible midfield replacement or, addition to the squad. He says, yeah, but he can't do a number 6 role. But I did my research and I discovered that Tielemans can, in fact, play number 6. He's done so for Leicester. He's even done so for Belgium. And okay, he maybe not be the perfect person if something was to happen to Partey, but he can perform a role to a good level. Yeah. I actually do rate Tielemans.
Yeah.
He's a good player, Belgium international, as we know, Premier League battle ready and tested, can score goals, very versatile player. And okay, he's not having his best season, but from what I understand, I've been speaking to some Leicester fans, he's one of the few Leicester players this season who can hold his head up.
I think with Tielemans, in the summer, we all wanted him. He's had football's a very fickle sport, isn't it?
It is.
And he's had a quiet season. He had a quiet World Cup, and all of a sudden we're like, he doesn't really offer me a lot of excitement if we sign Yuri Tielemans. He would be, he'd be like Trossard for me. It's like, it's a sensible signing that bolsters the squad. It's just not a game changer. But maybe we can't get a game changer.
Well, this is it. The January window's notorious for this type of thing. You know what I mean? There's only a finite amount of players that are going to be available.
Yeah.
And all the clubs seem to be going after the same types of players, as we've seen with the Mudryk and the João Felix deal. So, I mean, I'm asking people to give us names. And I must admit, man, I mean, people here, Kara Matoma of Brighton, he's not going to come to us. Messi, he's definitely not going to come to us. Moussa Diaby, a couple of Tielemans in there. Joe Polina, Fulham.
He's a good player. They only just signed him in the
exactly.
summer,
He's not going to. Ndidi from Leicester. Not so sure about that. Wilfred Zaha, your mate. There's no way Palace are going to.
One last dance, man. One last dance. Bring Wilf to the carpet. You get him for 20 million. 6 months left on his deal.
Yeah, but do you really think Palace are going to let him go? I mean, we've both said in this show that Palace are struggling right now. If they sell Palace, that's pretty much Palace saying, well, okay, we don't care if we go down.
Do you know what, honestly?
I don't think you would happen.
I think they'd sell him.
You do?
Yeah, I do. But do you know why? Because his contract's up. Apparently, from what I'm hearing, he's not signing a new deal. And I think he's given so much to that club. They're not going to get relegated, I don't think. They're mid-table. I think they would allow.
I don't think they'll get relegated, but let's be honest, man, they're not in a good space right now.
They're not, they are struggling a bit.
They're struggling, and Zaha is without doubt their best player and their talisman. And I don't care what type of club you are, you let someone like that go, man. That is that is you're asking for trouble.
The only thing I've ever said, I don't know if Arteta is, you know, Arteta and Zaha doesn't seem like a match to me, really.
Yeah, that could be an oil and water team.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think Trossard is more a player that he would go for.
But then look at Trossard. I mean, look, he's fallen out with De Zerbi at Brighton. De Zerbi's questioned his professionalism. He's saying that, listen, the reason why Trossard is out of favour at Brighton is because he wanted to vary the squad. Asked Trossard, put it to Trossard that he wouldn't be playing, and he got vexed and stormed out. So that doesn't seem like the type of person that would get on with Arteta, really, does it?
Yeah, no, it's true.
And I'm sure they take all these things into consideration.
Yeah.
And when they're looking at players, so that's not a good look for Trossard.
It might not be him either.
Yeah. So super chat here from Sheets and Metal says, we have failed this January transfer season. Last season repeating itself. Now, listen, he's thrown that out there. That may sound overly negative to some people, but I tell you what, there's a few people, man. I think, you know what I'm going to say? I think that the manner of the win and the performance has kind of masked this type
100%.
Yeah, because in other words, what I'm saying is the minute we get an indifferent result, thoughts and comments like this are going to come to the surface.
He is absolutely spot on. We even said it before that Tottenham game. We said, listen, they have to beat Tottenham now, because if we'd have lost that game on the back of what happened with Mudryk, it would have been like, let's be honest, we're 16 days into the window, we've done nothing. It can only be considered a transfer failure at this point. Yeah, they've got 2 weeks to fix it, but, you know, why have they waited so long? We knew we had big games in January. Liverpool got Gakpo done early. You know, Chelsea got deals done quickly. We're here being linked with different players that we, you know. So yeah, up until this point, the window has been a failure.
Yeah. There might be a lot of people who might go with you on that. Super chat here from Herbert Walton says, Curtis, you're an absolute legend with that comment you made about Lloris being drunk. Arsenal bottled Mudryk deal. Big up AFTV.
Yeah, I mean, the club will dress Mudryk up as we walked away. It was too expensive. But for me, they should have got the deal done quicker. Because as soon as Shakhtar knew Chelsea were there, they were going to say, all right, money bags are here. So the price is going to be 100 million. But I think if they'd have moved quicker, they'd have got him. They'd have got him before Chelsea came to the table.
Yeah, I happen to agree with you. Now, I'd have liked to have seen. See, as I said earlier in the show, people, that deal was kicking around for ages.
Too long.
Even before we knew about Chelsea seriously getting involved. I'm not saying that Chelsea were never looking at that situation, because they probably were.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a lot of clubs, they do their due diligence. They know when players are up for sale. They know all about them, you know. So, yeah, but initially, it was us and Shakhtar going back and forth. I think we might have done a bit more to just lock that down, given what's happened now. We should have learned from mistakes in the past. But listen, let's just hope that it doesn't come back to bite us in the bum, and that Arsenal do have this plan B that people tell me that they're working on. So,
let's hope so.
But as Curtis said, only time will tell. Right, okay, we're going to have to wrap things up now. And in doing so, we're going to shift back to the game this weekend, Arsenal, Man United. Now, Curtis, we've spoken about, you know, Man United being on this hot streak. We spoke about it being such a big game. We spoke about the players to watch, the Rashford, etc., etc. Now I'm going to press you for a result. And I'm not just going to press you for a result. On this show, we don't just say, who do you think's going to win? That's too easy.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you why you think whoever's going to win is going to win. So, who's going to win and why?
Yeah, 3 points, I think. I'm going for a win. I'm going for a win.
Why wouldn't he?
Do you know what? I'm going to be respectful, though. This is a very difficult game.
It is.
And I honestly think, you know, they're one of the most informed teams in the league now with us. They've just beaten Man City, so their confidence is sky high. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen against Palace. That could have an effect. They go to Palace and draw or lose, their confidence a bit lower. I just think, I look at that first game, I felt we should have beat them, but was away from home, a little bit naive. I think we'd have learnt from that now. And I think if you can keep Rashford quiet, which is difficult because he is in hot form at the moment, I do think you can stop their attack. And I just think defensively we're so solid now that I'm confident that we can keep them from creating many chances. And I just think going forward we'll hurt them. If you got Wan-Bissaka or you got Luke Shaw playing at centre back, and I'm sure they probably won't do that because Lisandro was on the bench against Man City, so maybe that's just a fitness issue. I think it'll be a tough game, but I think we got a little bit too much for them. We've got a great record at home. We've got 7 days without a game. They've got to play midweek, travel to London, go back, come back again. I think we'll have a little bit too much for them. I'm going to go for my safety victory score again, which is 2-1, because
2-1.
I don't think we will just, batter them. They are a very good team, and they have got goal-scoring threats. I said last week 2-1, but we kept a clean sheet, so maybe. But I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. I think we'll have a little bit too much for them, and then we'll be flying if we win that. So yeah.
Yep, I'm with you on that, bro. I'm with you on that. You articulated your reasons as well, and I'm going with that. I hear you. I'll go for a 2-1 win. Both teams have been unbeaten in recent games, but somebody's O has to go. And as I was saying earlier in the show, people, the significance of the win against Tottenham is that we're on cloud 9 right now, and man, we're looking hot. We're smoking, in fact.
Come on, man.
And I think off the back of that win away to Tottenham, we're at home this weekend. You've seen in recent months when Arsenal at home, it's become a bit of a fortress now.
I think Newcastle, that's the only game we haven't won in the league. It's at home. So we've got a great record at home.
Great record.
And
couldn't be going into this game in better shape.
Yeah. And I think with Newcastle, they really camped in their own half and said, we're going to sit back. United will actually have a go at us, and I think that helps us because it'll give us space to attack them. So I think it'll be an exciting game. Always a good game against them. Definitely. Yeah.
Right, okay then, people. We're wrapping up. I think I saw one last super chat there from Sheets of Metal. It says 0 signings. We are comfortable 8 points. Are we mad? The pillow at the Ramada Inn doesn't get fluffy. Eventually we get cardboard pillow. It's a bit cryptic, that, but
I kind of know where he's going.
I think I know where he's going. It's a little bit disappointing. But listen, man, let's just quell the negativity, man. There's a big game coming up this weekend. We win that, we march onwards, and I'm pretty sure that we will. Curtis has said 2-1. I'm not one to disagree with Curtis. He normally gets it right. It's 2-1. Arsenal beating Man United this weekend. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks very much for all the people who submitted super chats and comments. Keep supporting the show. Keep the shows interactive. We love it. We see you soon. Thank you very much.